Do you want to know how to become abundant? Are you struggling with your finances? Are your relationships in trouble? Is your health suffering? If you want to be abundant in your health, in your wealth, in your relationships, and in your finances, this live webinar, episode 9 of Working Moms Academy, is for you. Today, I am very blessed to have the opportunity to have a guest from UK who will talk about abundance. For those of you who don't know what abundance is, and for those of you who don't know Working Moms Academy yet, let me introduce myself. My name is Wandalyn Tan-Calupig. I am the founder of Working Moms Academy. After suffering from burnout in 2014, it has been my life mission to help working moms overcome stress and burnout by sharing life tools that education lacks. And through training, coaching, and community of moms supporting each other, Working Moms Academy is making a difference in the lives of mothers so mothers can become better person, parents, and partners. On this month of April, in partnership, of course, with the Asian Parent Philippines and Working Moms Academy, this live webinar and the rest of the months will talk about abundance. Today, it's April. Abundant April is our topic. And today, let me introduce my guest to you. Let me just open my file. Okay. About Heena. Heena Thaker is a business mentor for financial wellness based in the UK. For 20 years, Heena has been mentoring, training, and empowering individuals to realize their ambitions and dreams professionally and to become successful entrepreneurs in their own right. She is a multi-business entrepreneur and passionate advocate of compassion and connection when building a profitable, socially responsible business. Hina is an optometrist by profession. She intuitively and intentionally followed her personal wealth creation path through the elegant sale of her optical practices, property investments, and various assets. Today, she lives her life from a place of joy and grace. She inspires and aids others who want to do the same for themselves. So today, let me just give a quick story before bringing Hina on stage. She sent me a message on LinkedIn, and instantly, I know for whatever reason, I always trust the inner guidance I have with me. It's like I got the message, have a Zoom call. And right away I had a Zoom call with her, and I felt so much joy knowing that from another place in another country, there's another working mom who is on the same mission of adding value and helping other people. So without further ado, let me bring Hina on stage. Hi, Hina. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Wanda, for inviting me on. I'm so happy to be here, and hello to everybody that's watching us today.
Actually, it's my honor, and it's really a great blessing to have you. I always believe that the right people always come. And when you discuss to me that you are into intentional wealth creation, it's like, oh my God, Hina is the right guest for me in April for the topic Abundant April. So let's discuss first. What is abundance? First for me, abundance mean different things at different stages of my life. When I was young, we have less money. So I'll say I have abundant love from my mom and from my family, but money was scarce. So,
Yeah.
but I think, as I look back now, for me at this stage of my life, abundance is having overflowing love and happiness and peace, no matter what is happening. Because I learned that this is something that money cannot buy, for you, and something you cannot just get from outside. So for me, abundance is about having that peace, joy, and happiness no matter what. So Hina, can you share us please what is really abundance? Because if you Google it, abundance in dictionary only says plentiful.
Yes.
So what really is abundance?
Yes, it does say plentiful. So for me, abundance is just feeling like I am full, I have enough, there's nothing lacking in my life. Abundance is the opposite of lack, if you like, where you feel like actually what you have makes you happy. Then you feel abundant, and people will often talk about wealth, and I'm on a mission to claim the word wealth back, because for many people, wealth, when you talk about wealth, or if you Google wealth, you will be introduced to websites which are talking about stocks and shares and, portfolios and things like that. But if you look at the root of the word wealth, wealth comes from the Middle English word weal, W-E-A-L, which means well-being. And then
Oh,
when you add a th on the end, it becomes the condition of well-being. So wonder how beautiful is that? Wealth is actually the condition of well-being. So when you think about that, it's so much more than money, right? True wealth is so much more than money. And in fact, I believe that there's specific 8 areas of wealth. And when you feel good in all those areas, that is abundance.
thank you, Hina, for sharing. And when I was actually, I wasn't aware that I was experiencing burnout already in 2014. I was just always sick. I mean, I always love my job, but I started to dread Monday mornings. I find it difficult to wake up. I mean, I was feeling empty and unhappy. And I was like, what is really success, happiness, and wealth? I started to question everything, including my own existence. And I mean, let us now go to, I agree with you. Wealth has different meaning at different stage and to different people. And I know you're into intentional wealth creation. Can you tell us more about what intentional wealth creation is all about and how can we have it?
Yeah. Oh, well, for me, so my business is called Intentional Wealth Creation. And for me, it is about having an intention for everything that I do. So let's talk about money, because that is, money is all pervasive in our society. Everybody wants money, needs money to get on and get the stuff that they need. But money is not everything. It's an enabler. It enables you to do the stuff that you want to do, right? So if people say, I want to have money, I would say, what is your intention for that money? So it's not, you don't want money to sit in a golden pot by your bedside table, right? You want it maybe to go on a lovely holiday. You want it to put food on the table. You want it um, to help other people with by making life easier for other people. You have a job that you want your money for, right? So like we are working mums here, money is also working, So what is your intention for the money? So my intention when I set up my business was to spend more time with my children, right? That intention was my driving force. But and you know my story, Wanda, I lost sight of that. I lost sight of the fact that my intention was to be my own boss so I would have more time with my children. But what happened was that my business actually became the boss of me. So I was working long hours. The children were in nursery and then school from 8 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening.
Wow, that's
I chose a school that would do that. They were literally the first ones knocking on the door and the last ones out at night, So I had lost sight of my intention for why I was doing all of this, why I wanted to create wealth. And when I realigned with my intention, that's when the magic started to happen. That's actually when I felt wealthy in the 8 areas of wealth that I spoke about.
I love that, Tina. I think a lot of mothers fall into that trap.
Yes.
I mean, because we are clear at the end of the day, oh, we are working for you. And I always, when my kids were smaller, they always ask me, Mommy, why do you have to work? Why just can't be with us? And I told them once, because I need to buy you toys, I need to buy you milk, I need to get you clothes. And then they told me, but Mommy, we don't need clothes. We only want you. And
Yes.
I think that was a wake up call for me that wait, what is really this job doing to me and to my children? Because I mean, I had my own share of mistake. I used to revolve my family schedule around my work.
Yes.
But it has to be the other way around because as you also said, when you align yourself with your values, and family is the top core of my value. When I started to align every schedule that I have, including these lives,
Yes.
with my family schedule, everything aligns into place because I have now really have more time to focus on do what I love and also focus on what matters to me, which is my family. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that. So can you tell us more about this intentional wealth? How can you have it?
Yes. So let me. Is it possible to share my screen with you?
Yes, yes, please. Would
Yeah.
love to share. So Hina would love to share and see more of what is this intentional wealth creation and how can you really have it?
Okay. So let us. I'm going to share the tree if I can. Um, is that working?
Okay, not yet. No worries. I will wait for you until you share it. But let me speak while you're sharing the slide. So this is also what I learned with when I read the book from Napoleon Hill. And he said, success starts with clarity of purpose.
Yes.
And what I love about what you're sharing, Hina, is that when you have the clear intention, why you need the money for, I
Yes.
think and I believe that the money always comes when you are clear what is the purpose. And if you also open that concept that the money is not coming from only your job but it comes from the pure source which is God, and
Yes.
that gives you, I mean, last year was a lot of fear because there's a lot of salary cuts, there's a lot of loss of jobs, but I started to step back and say, wait, I think I just have to look back and what is really the source of my money. Is it really only my job or is it God? And I think when I said, oh, God is the source of my money, I became more peaceful and relaxed. Okay, let me see. I think our screen is showing. Can you just minimize maybe the StreamYard one?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now we can see the tree. Can you tell us more about this
Yeah.
tree?
So I would love to. So there are there are ancient texts that I read about wealth creation and abundance. I kind of have translated them a little bit to bring in to the modern world, kind of the world we live in at the moment. So first of all, um, the first aspect of wealth is your connection to source. So whatever your higher purpose is, whatever it is that brings you peace, that some would call it your connection to divine, your inner knowing as to why you want to do something. The second aspect is then your bringing in your relationships, your family, your creative endeavors. That is also a form of wealth. Some people actually, with their creative endeavors, so business people are creative, artists are creative. We're all creative in our own way, so that is also a form of wealth. Another form of wealth is your health, right? So, and that's the roots of this little tree that you can see, that actually, if your health is not good, if your roots are not strong, there's not going to be any growth. Um, Another aspect of wealth is knowledge. Number four is the more knowledge that you can have about things, the more you can use that knowledge to enhance your own wealth and well-being. Um, Number five is courage. Oh my gosh, how many of us have ideas to create wealth in terms of money, and actually something stops us. We don't actually have the courage, because it takes a lot of courage to get out there. Wanda, I really admire your courage in just getting out there, because you have this big purpose to help working mothers. So it takes courage, right? I'm sure you'll agree. And the next one is um, being known. I put it as fame, but it's like getting yourself out there and get known for what it is that you want to bring forward into the world. What do you actually stand for? And then number seven is money. And other goals. Money is only one part of wealth. And when you have all other seven aspects, that's when you feel successful in your endeavors. So that is my take on what true wealth is, that you need to incorporate all these aspects of it, and that's when the wheel of abundance will start to flow.
That's actually very good. Was actually very busy typing while you're while
Yeah.
you're speaking. You said the first aspect of it is your connection to source. You know
Yeah.
what? And you know what you said. Your connection to the divine. I mean, that is very true, right? I mean, I learned and I was able to help a lot of people. I mean, achieve their goals if they have connection to the divine. You know,
Yeah.
it's not about you know, a lot of people call God with different names, but it's the faith. I think, you know, a lot of people were able to accomplish their careers, you know, heal their trauma because I was able to, together with the coaching, I always tell them, you to access and pray for the God to whoever you believe in. This is
Yeah.
really very important, Tina.
Yeah.
So, and you also said relationship. You know, I remember there's a very famous quote. I think it was Zig Ziglar, where he said, you can never really be successful if your home is in shambles,
Yes.
right? So when I was experiencing burnout, you know, at some point it was affecting my relationship already because I was looking for something I don't know what. And for those people, I think, who are missing something in life, it always leaves a clues, right? You know, for me, I was always sick. So I think if there is something problem in your life, some areas of your life have money is okay, but my relationships are not as good, and I was suffering with my health. I was always sick. So what have you seen with your clients and with other people in terms of this wealth, and you know, how are they managing it?
Yeah, so it's really important to understand. I believe that financial abundance, the money aspect, right? That is actually emotional. It's an emotion. So financial abundance is almost emotional abundance, right? So if you are not feeling abundant in areas, you're angry for some reason at your boss, or you are. So I found that people, for example, you know, I've got a client who she's an introvert and she can't speak up. She can't speak up in a meeting or something like that. People assume that she doesn't have anything good to say. Like she's always quiet. But actually she's a listener and she will come out with amazing things. But she was always looked over for promotions or, you know, because she didn't speak up. And her boss didn't have enough emotional intelligence to try and work out what was going on. Right. So she bottled all of that inside and she manifested illnesses in her body because she was unhappy. You know, she was unhappy at work, but she had to go to work because she had to earn money. And can you see, she was only the lack of, and the illness then forced her not to be able to go to work.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you understand that everything in your life is connected, your work, your
Yeah.
emotions, everything. And I had the same experience, Hina, and I've always been a listener. I think most women are listeners. I mean, in a conference room where there are most men, I mean, when I was a manager, there were like maybe only 10 women and there are like 40 men.
Yeah.
So I am always a listener. And I remember one of those days, and even on the training that I attend, one of the managers asked me, Wanda, do you not know or do you not understand? And
Yeah.
then I replied and I summarized the whole training in one sentence.
Yeah.
And then the VP said, oh, you're going to be on revenue. I think, you know, the suppression of our emotion, the suppression when we don't speak what we want, you know, when you don't express yourself, then
Yes.
you tend to be sick.
Yes.
And that is actually one of the reasons. So for those of you who are always sick, who are tired, you know, my advice, what, you know, do something that gives sparks joy within. Like
Yeah.
This training is something that sparks so much joy within, and I feel so much energy throughout the week, throughout the month, because I know I've done something that money cannot pay me, that
Yeah.
can help others. So,
Yeah.
Hina, let's talk more about the other knowledge. There's also knowledge, courage. Oh my God, can you speak more about courage?
So much is to do with how courageous we are, right? How willing we are to put ourselves out there and say, and that I don't necessarily mean on a stage or on a webinar, I even just mean with our families, to say, I'm unhappy in my job. Like yesterday, I did not want to cook. I mean, lockdown and just cooking 3 meals a day for everybody. It's too much for me. It's too much to have to think about all of that. And I had kind of brain fog, and it's almost like you need to be courageous enough. I know it's only a small thing. That's a small example, but you need to be courageous enough to tell people what's going on with you. So it's not just about courage to stand on a stage and say, hey, look at me, and I'm doing this or I'm doing that. But it's also the courage to admit what's going on with you. Like, I'm not happy, or this is amazing, I love this, so this is what I'm going to concentrate on for the rest of my life. Or do you know what I mean? That's what courage is.
I agree with you. I think courage comes in many forms, and it doesn't have to be always big. And what I also is when you have the courage to be who you are, to say what you mean, and really speak your truth, then it always will flow. Like I agree with you. When I was experiencing burnout, I was blaming my boss, my husband, my kids. I say I'm stressed because of them. But when I had the courage to say, "This is my own fault," then I had the whole power to do something about it also. As you said, you don't have to be everything. I mean, I was doing work, I was cooking, I was trying to be everything for everybody except to myself. So
Yeah,
the courage to just be there for you
yeah,
is
yeah,
courage enough, right,
yeah.
Hina?
Yeah, absolutely. I wrote a post on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, and it's basically women can definitely have it all, but they don't have to do it all.
I love that. Women can have it all, but
Yeah,
they
women
don't
can,
have to.
but we don't have to do it all. So for me, at the height of the busiest time in my business, and my children were like 5, 6 at the time, I was very blessed to have an amazing assistant, and she said to me, "Do you know what? I'm going to find somebody to cook for you because my family, I'm a vegetarian. I like Indian food. I grew up on Indian food, so I feel like pasta and things like that. I could just do it in a few minutes. It's not a problem. But to cook an Indian meal, as well as working full time, it takes much longer, right? Um, the minute I was so blessed to have this amazing girl who cooked for me, and she cooked for her family in her own home 3 times a week. And on my way from work, I would pick up this little bag of magic and bring it. And that made me feel abundant because it released my mind from having to think too much. You know, abundance is also, because it's a feeling, something that makes you feel good. Um, is my definition of abundance. Nature is so abundant, Wanda. You look out in nature, it's only a tiny flower, but it brings you joy, right? It makes you feel amazing. So
That's good. Thank you, Hina, for sharing that. I think abundance is, I mean, it doesn't have to be a big definition, as you said. I mean, just getting that help from the cook is actually a big abundance them itself, right? Because it's free. I'll say abundance is being free from your own worries, right?
yeah,
and and,
absolutely.
and and that's the best gift that I think. A lot of people talk about self-care, self-love, and I think it's also about abundance. But because when you start to do small things that can free you from worry, from stress, that is the abundant feeling that
Yeah,
that is priceless.
yeah, definitely. And you know, when you have all of that in alignment, it's like a wheel. It will just keep on turning, you know. That's the beauty of it. That when these things align, the wheel, the flow keeps happening, and the money follows. The wealth in that respect follows. I
That's
really,
true. That
I
so
really feel.
money follows you. If the seven wealth is this seven, right? If the seven wealth is
It's
in alignment, right?
eight aspects of wealth.
Okay.
Um, if you can, if you can incorporate those into your life, then abundance will follow. It's like it has no choice. It has to follow. It has to, if you're happy, if you're following your creativity. Like, my husband is extremely stressed for the last couple of months. And, this is how I think, so as a working mom, as, just a busy person, if a member of your family is not happy,
Hmm.
that also creates a block in your own flow, right?
Definitely.
And so for him it's drawing and going back to his artwork. So something that takes stops you thinking from your left brain and gets you to switch over to your right brain, which is the more creative side. That makes you feel abundant. It's so yes, when you tap into all those areas, the money will flow. It has no choice but to flow.
Thank you for sharing that. I think, what my advice to the other people is that, if you are not feeling abundant today, look at those eight aspects. Oh, there was a question. What is the eighth one? Okay, let me just mention. Hina, just correct me if I am right.
Yeah,
Okay. So the first one is about connection to source.
yes,
Second is relationship.
yeah,
Third is your health.
yeah,
Fourth is knowledge. Fifth
yeah,
is courage.
yeah.
Six is fame and being known for who you are. Seven is money. What's the eighth?
The eighth, Sahar, thank you for the question, is amazing because that's success. That's,
Ah, okay. So I
yeah,
did not
so
know.
feeling successful, okay? Eighth
Mm.
aspect of wealth is that feeling of success. Because here's the other thing. If you are not satisfied, if you don't feel like you've achieved, then you're never going to feel wealthy, right? Because you're always going to be chasing. You're always, so when do you feel like I am successful? I am good. I have achieved what I wanted to achieve. I'm happy. I'm content. So it's that success comes when all the seven are in alignment, but you need that feeling. So some people would say, celebrate. So many of us achieve things, but we don't celebrate that success.
I agree with you. And I would like to thank Sihar. Sihar is watching us live. Thank you, Sihar, for reminding us about the eighth one. He said
Yeah,
it's the most important. Of course, I think, as you said, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, and the summary of it is success. And what was my biggest mistake before I learned is that I was measuring my success based on society's program. Because society said, oh, if you have money, if you have a job, if you have a car, if you have a house, a family, you should be successful and happy. And I was like, there must be something wrong with me because
yeah,
I was feeling empty and unhappy. But if you go back, Hina, to your, eighth aspect of it, what was missing for me is my service to others.
yeah,
I think that is where, when you really look at these eight aspects, which is very good, you will tend to see which part of my life is totally imbalanced. And when you do something about it, that is where the alignment will flow.
yeah. I,
So
yeah. Um, Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
yeah. So that is my take about that. I think your eight aspects of wealth is very important to any person who's watching us live on LinkedIn. Score yourself today. In which aspects of wealth am I lacking or am I missing?
Yeah,
Because if you focus on that, that is where alignment
yeah.
comes.
And I've actually got a little PDF which I call the Wheel of Abundance, which I'll be happy to. I think you've got it, haven't you? But I'll be happy to share. But I want to come back to a point that you raised, that you were measuring your success on house, car, job, that kind of thing. Here's the thing. that I have found very personal to me, and I think it applies to all of us, is that wealth and abundance is very personal. It's not relative. Okay. So it's not, your measure of how wealthy you feel is personal to you. It's not relative to how wealthy your neighbor feels. Right? It's because we all, there used to be this thing here in the UK about the saying is keeping up with the Joneses. So like if your neighbor gets a big car, you want a big car, or if your neighbor has a swimming pool, then you want a swimming pool, or whatever it is. And then suddenly those things may make your neighbor happy, but they don't make you happy. And if they don't make you happy, then you will never feel successful, no matter how much you have. Right? So John Paul Getty, I think he was kind of the richest man in America. He was asked, how much is enough? And his answer was, there is never enough. And he was bitter. If you read his story, you'll see his grandchild was kidnapped and he refused to pay the ransom, and yet he was the richest man. There's just so much around how unhappy he was despite having so much money.
Thank you, Heena, for sharing that. Can you share that wheel of abundance while I'm speaking?
I hope I'm successful in my sharing skills, because
no worries. We will be waiting for you. You know what I also learned? And I've met a lot of very wealthy people, millionaires, billionaires, but sometimes they're unhappy. Like one of the people I meet, she said, Wanda, I only want a person to wait for me when I am home because she was separated. So I think my challenge to those people who are finding life difficult, who is finding it, that you're not successful, define success in your own terms and conditions. In one of the books I wrote in Amazon, it's called Secrets of Working Mom, how to be wealthy, healthy, and happy. So I shared there, you can really be successful when you really define success based on your own terms and conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So Wanda, can you see the Wheel of Abundance now?
Not yet, Heena. So
okay, let's come back.
Okay. No problem. We'll wait for you. Let me just read Sehar's message while you're sharing. Okay, I got it now. Just minimize our screen so I can see that screen only. Okay. So Sehar just said, the key to abundance is meeting limited circumstances with unlimited stuff. I like that. Thank you, Sehar, for sharing. Yes, I think the unlimited, if you have an open mind, you will always have abundance also. So can you tell us more? Thank you, Sehar, for sharing. Can you tell us more about this wheel of abundance,
Yes, so I just created this for myself, really. And you can see there's little dots on it. So you can check in, once a week, once a month, whatever. And you just say, so there's 5 dots there, and you just go, okay, what is my level? So if we start with commitment, because to do anything, you need to be committed to it. You need to, even to cook a meal, you need to be committed, in the sense you need to go and get the ingredients, you need to switch the gas on, all of that, right? So there's a level of commitment with everything that we do. So at the center of everything is your intention. Like, I want this for myself. Then you look at your commitment to it. Because lots of people want things, but they don't want to commit to the action of doing them. So, like, how committed I am. And on some days, you know what? I could be a 2 out of 5 because I really can't be bothered. Like yesterday, I want to feed my family well, but yesterday I just was not committed to doing any cooking, So it's like, how committed am I to whatever it is, to creating abundance in my life, to having a goal of £10,000 or $10,000 a month income? How committed am I to that? So you can measure your level of commitment. Am I prepared to take responsibility for this? It's okay to say, I want to do this. Am I actually prepared to take responsibility for this? So Wanda, you told me earlier on that, the work that you do for Working Moms Academy, you do at the weekend, right?
Yes.
Because you have a full-time job. So that is commitment. And that is taking responsibility. Like, I've committed to this. I'm going to take responsibility for getting it out there. and how aligned is it to your values? Like, so for example, somebody might say, one of my values is respect, right? But they don't respect their money. They don't respect how they earn it. They are frivolous with it. They throw it away on things which have no meaning for them or for anybody else. So look at your values, and there's lots of tools available on the internet where you can check in on your values. And Wanda, I'm happy to share later on some, a link to some if you need it. And then the courage. We've talked at length about courage, right? Make a choice, make an active choice to be the person that you want to be.
That's a powerful statement. Choose to be the person you want to be.
Yeah. Check in with your vision and clarity. We all have. Those of us that work in organizations will know, an organization has a vision, a mission statement, but actually, what does it mean? Is it actually meaningful, or is it just words on a wall? So whatever your vision is for your life, check in with that. Like when I was young, I wanted the house and the car and this. Now, if I had the same vision, that wouldn't be aligned, because that's not my vision anymore. My vision is to live a joyful life, and everything I do has to be aligned to my vision. So is what you're doing aligned to your vision? This is so important for me. Does it make me feel peaceful? Like, you may be working very hard, but are you at peace with that? Or are you resentful of it? So this goal of $10,000 a month in your bank account, is it actually making you feel resentful, or are you at peace with that? And then the final one, the biggest one, are you actually open to receiving what you ask for, what you set your intention for? So I will have clients who will say, yes, I want to achieve the next level of growth in my business. Yes, I want to do this. And then the opportunities come, and they say, no, I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because, it's too much time commitment. I can't do that because it's on a Saturday. I can't go on a webinar because it's on my day off. All of that kind of stuff. Those are all opportunities which you are closing the door to. Like, I believe if you set an intention and it's with a pure heart, the universe will send you opportunities. Are you open to receiving those opportunities? Does that make sense, Wanda?
Definitely, just to share a bit of story from my clients. A lot of my clients, they want, let's say, new job, they want a promotion. But what I always seen is that they have blocks that they are not aware of. The blocks in their mind. Like, for example, one of my clients, she's not getting her permanent position. Imagine, for 10 years, she only has a temporary position in the company. And I asked her, do you really want this? And she said, yes. And I think it's the opening to receiving because of the mindset. And I was asking her, so what is the worry if you receive the extra money and benefits that you will get? And she said, oh, if I get the extra money, my husband might be upset because I'm gonna earn more than him. And I was like, but are you sharing the money with your husband? It's like, yes. And is this your assumption, or is this the truth? Did you ask your husband's opinion about you getting promoted? And she said, I never asked. And I told her, okay, first have a conversation with your husband and let's do a clearing. So through NLP, we did a small clearing to remove her blocks about that, additional money that she will receive. In 3 days after we did the coaching, she was able to get a call from HR that her permanent position is already in progress.
Yeah.
And there are so many stories like that. And I think it's, if you are clear, what I learned is that if you are clear of your vision, and if you also open your mind to receive and to clear the blocks, your thoughts, your emotions, then, it's going to be it's going to be easy for you to really get what you want, right, Tina?
Absolutely. And it's going to be a beautiful journey. So I had a similar story with a client. She worked with horses to help people, horses as therapy for people that were traumatized. And she was like, she wanted to make more money, but she didn't want to work more than 2 days. She didn't want to, anything that I suggested, there was a block, right? So, and I said, you know what, let's talk about this. And it took a while, but ultimately I said, what would being wealthy mean for you? And she said, it would mean that I was showing off. And I was
Oh,
like, what does that mean? And she said, well, and we again, we worked on that and we unpicked the story. And she was told as a young child, you know, when children come and say, Mummy, Mummy, look at this, look what I did in school, or and they want you to put it up on the refrigerator door or to show it off, right? And her mum said that, you know, wanting to display what she'd done was classed as showing off. So for her, being more successful, earning more money, which she wanted to do with her head, but there was a blockage in her, and it was that it would be classed as showing off if she earned more money. And then when we unpacked it even more, she realized that it would be classed as showing off in front of her younger brother, who perhaps wasn't in that same position. And this was all seeding that had come from her childhood, right? And it was so powerful when she was like, oh my God, where did that come from? I didn't even know that that story was living inside of me, creating the block. You know, stopping that wheel of abundance from turning.
I agree with you, Hina. You know what I learned? We have more than 20, we have 20 blocks. Each person have 20 blocks. And if you don't know which one, that's the biggest problem, right? And most of our blocks are from childhood, which we're not even aware of. Most of our blocks are from our parents, also from our friends, our family members. That is why Working Moms Academy is all about helping mothers first. Because if you correct it from the mother side, you can
Absolutely.
impact I mean the mother, the children, the husband, and generations to come, right,
Yeah.
Hina?
But I've also learned that, so blocks, we call it seeding, right? That you were seeded
Mm.
negatively. But there is two sides to that as well, because you can be seeded positively. And my own story is of positive seeding. So I was driving just about 4 or 5 years ago now, 5 years ago maybe, and I got a phone call. So I answered the phone. It was my friend, and she said, "Darling, I want to ask you a question. What are you doing?" So I said, "I'm driving." She said, "Pull over. I want to ask you this question." And I said, "No, no, I've got hands free. You can talk to me." She says, "No, you need to be standing still when I ask you." So I pulled over, and she said, "When did you realize that you would always be wealthy?" And without even stopping to think for a second, I just said, when I was 17. And she said, what does that mean? So when I was 17, we went back to India from the UK for a cousin's wedding. We did some prayer ceremonies for the wedding, and my uncle gave me a coin from the
Mhm.
prayer ceremony, a blessed coin. And he said, put it in your wallet and you will never run out of money. I was
Wow.
17 then. I'm 52 now. Wanda, I believed my uncle. In that moment, my subconscious mind believed him. I have never run out of money. Even in the supermarket, or, to pay parking meters, or, you need some coins. If I was short of a 10 pence coin or five, I would find it somewhere at the bottom of the car or at the bottom of my bag. But I have never, ever been short of money because I was positively seeded to believe that, right? And I've had machines throw money out at me, but that's how much this abundance thing works. Yeah, because you believe it. And
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Hina. I think it is also said, you know, everything manifestation happens first in the mind and then in reality. That's why your
Absolutely.
belief is very important. So you believe that you will never run out of money, because a lot of people spend on fear.
Yes.
When you pay, a lot of people, when they pay something, they're afraid that they will, not get the money again. But what I also learned something called arigato your money. So
Yes.
on
You
the
know that,
receipt,
right? Yeah.
you write on your receipts and say, "Thank you for the money spent for this. I believe that I will always have enough to
Yeah.
spend and to
Yeah.
help more people."
Yeah.
So, okay, your belief about money is one of the best and the most important thing for you to be abundant, right, Hina?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And what it's there to do. So I really, lots of a limiting belief, a very common limiting belief. You know, the most important thing to remember in all of this, in wealth creation, is that your route to wealth creation is very unique to you. Because it's as personal as your DNA. In fact, my course is called Your Personal Wealth Code, because it's as personal to you as your DNA. So it's about your beliefs, your mindset, your abilities, your creative gifts that you have. Um, you know, and we know this to be true, but we don't associate it with money. That feeling of wealth, your wealth code, is so unique to you, and it's different to your husband's, or it's different
Mm.
to your wife's. So that's also a mistake. Is like, people have common goals sometimes and they stop at that. You must have ambition for yourself. Mothers mothers are known to sacrifice, right? Or it's like, I tell this story about pay yourself first.
Mm.
Okay. And it goes against the grain of mother, because you think, oh, mother looks after everybody first and then herself. So imagine a business owner who actually is not taking any money from their business, right?
Yeah.
That's like, and you know this to be true, many business owners, like the majority of businesses, go under within the first 18 months, because the owner's not able to pay themselves and it's not a sustainable business. And I tell, I have this kind of way of explaining that to myself and to others, is that, imagine you cook this meal. You're making a pie. Let's say you're making a pie. Get all the ingredients and you make this delicious pie, right? So you went out, bought the ingredients, you made the pie, you cleaned up the kitchen afterwards, and you shout up to the children, guys, come and get it, it's ready, right? And then you remember your neighbor actually also likes this pie. So you say, okay, I'm going to take a piece to my neighbor. So you cut a piece off and you say to the kids, I'm just going to the neighbor's, I'll be back in a minute, come and eat the pie while it's hot. And you go to the neighbor with the pie and they love it and they say thank you, and you have a little bit of a chit chat. And you come home and the pie is all gone and there is only the crumbs left, right? And you say to yourself, oh, I was really looking forward to that, but it's okay. I am mummy and I can make do, and I will have some next time. But the next time somebody else comes along and they take the pie. And that's like a business owner saying, I've got to pay my web designer, I've got to pay for this, I've got to pay for a subscription for something, I've got to pay everybody else, and it's okay that I don't pay myself. And fundamentally, that is not the route to wealth creation. The first person that you must pay is yourself, because when you do that, you're showing your commitment. Because if you pay yourself, you will find a way to make sure that there's money to pay all the other people, right? And there's so much power in taking care of yourself. That's why they say put the oxygen mask on first yourself, then help other people. And yet, as business owners, we forget to do that. You
This
know,
is a great reminder, Hina. I agree with you. You should be the first, as I always said, don't expect others to see you or to help you if you don't see yourself first.
absolutely. The abundance comes from within. When you take responsibility for that feeling of abundance, then others will be attracted to that, right? And that's you being in flow. And when you're in flow, you attract more.
I love that. Thank you for sharing, Hina. We're almost in the end of our live webinar. Can you please invite people who want to join your personal wealth code? Can you tell us more about that, please?
Yeah, so the personal wealth code is a 12-week journey. It's 6 modules, and in those modules we talk about all the limits we learn. So it's two-pronged. I teach the money mindset side, and I teach the practical financial, read your numbers, learn to read the bottom line, learn to read your management figures, learn all of that kind of stuff. So it's a combination of the practical and the spiritual and the mindset aspect of money. So it's all about that. It's like, so we talk about, your GPS. What are your limiting beliefs? First of all, we unpack those, we put them to one side, then we create our new beliefs, we create the we that we want to be as far as money is concerned. And we look at the 8 aspects. So the tree that I showed you and the circle of abundance, those are all tools from within the course. Right?
Thank you, Hina, for sharing. So I'm dropping here for those of you who are watching us on live or replay. I'm dropping here all the links to Lina's intentional wealth creation. I'm also dropping here the LinkedIn for Hina, so you can connect with her. Please get in touch with her for those who want to really learn more about personal wealth code. So, Hina, what is your last message for those people who really want to become abundant?
Make the decision to be abundant.
I like that.
Follow people say, when I have something, then I can do something and then I will be happy or be wealthy be wealthy now. Be the person. If you want to be rich in terms of money, if you want to be wealthy and you're not there yet, think of what qualities somebody like that would have and start to embody those qualities now. Yeah, I think that is the key, that instead of focusing on the lack of I don't have it, be the kind of person who will be able to go and make that money. Be the kind of person who will attract that abundance into their life.
I think this principle is what Jack Canfield said, act as if.
Yes.
If you want to be abundant, act as if you're abundant already, because abundance is about your feeling. It's not only, it's all about the 8 aspects that you said, the courage, the knowledge, the health, the money, the success, your connection to divine source. So you embody the qualities and you will feel more abundant. As they said, the happiest people are not those who have everything. They are those who appreciate every little thing. So thank you again, Hina, for sharing. I really want to thank you for joining me today on this live webinar. For those of you who are watching us on live or on replay, this is Working Moms Academy's 9th live webinar episode on the topic, how to achieve true wealth and abundance. I hope you did learn. I learned a lot from you, Hina. Thank you for sharing. I hope you did learn a lot. Please share this video to those who might find it useful. What's the beauty of this webinar is that it's timeless wisdom, right? Our children's children can always benefit from this. Thank you so much, Hina, for sharing.
Great to be here, and I wish here's to all of our awesome abundance, all of us that are here.
Yes, so we wish you all an abundant weekend, an abundant afternoon, an abundant life. Make that decision now to be abundant. See it, feel it, do something about it, and your life will change. So for those of you, thank you again for watching. Working Moms Academy is here to help you overcome stress and burnout through our training, coaching, and community of moms supporting each other. So please join our Facebook group. It's Working Moms Academy Facebook group. And also, if you need some training or coaching for yourself or for your organization, please send us a message and we would love to share how we can be of help to you. Thanks again, Hina. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye. Thanks everybody for watching.
Bye.
Bye.